you've noticed it in the beverage section of your favorite convenience store. You've seen people filling up gallon jugs of the stuff at supermarkets. Kombucha is doing good business these days. In fact, it's poised to become a multi-billion-dollar product over the next few years. So what's all the fuss about? Well, that's what we wanted to know.
I just boiled the water and added the organic sugar.
It's a Tuesday night in Brown Deer, and dinner has already been served.
Simmered mixed berries.
Yet Casey Miller is back at the stove.
Cover it up. It looks weird and gross and, but it's great. It's perfect. It's wonderful.
But that's a pretty succinct description for kombucha, a centuries-old drink going through a bit of a renaissance.
I never have stomach aches, it just makes my gut happy. It just, flushes everything out. It's not like a diuretic.
Miller makes small batches for family and friends, part of a cottage industry of home kombucha brewers. But the majority of those who drink this really don't have the time, patience, or expertise to make it themselves.
But everybody has their own little spin on it.
And that's just fine for the women behind Nasala Kombucha in Madison. The Nasala part makes sense.
This community is important.
Vanessa Tortolana and Ala Sipin formed the company in 2008.
People didn't really know what kombucha was, and people thought we were kind of crazy for doing this as a business.
The kombucha part was a little tougher to explain, but Vanessa has it down to a sentence.
Kombucha, it is fermented tea. It contains probiotics, B vitamins, C vitamins, helps your body detoxify and boost your immune system. Ta-da!
That's your pitch.
Yeah,
that's pretty good pitch.
It's huge.
At their new environmentally friendly digs on Madison's east side, they showed us the process that turns brewed tea into kombucha.
Yeah, you really get the same smell.
And the action happens inside dozens of stainless steel vats they affectionately call Berthas.
Those are mega Berthas.
Added to a brewed tea is what's called a Scobie, an acronym for symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. We're going to show you that in a second, but first, here's why it's so important.
It grows on the surface of your brew and it seals it off from letting anything contaminate underneath, which is where the fermentation is happening.
Because you can see how thick it is.
And here's what it looks like.
It's like the more brown spots, that's the yeast forming. And the yeast is what eats the sugar to create the carbonation.
It may look a tad ominous at first, but a healthy Scobie is like a good bouncer at a bar. They're not there to be pretty. They're there to keep the undesirables out.
The reality is that's what's making your kombucha. So you can't really be afraid of something that you're trying to put into your body to do some good.
And about doing your body some good. The actual medical testing of kombucha in general is minimal. Odd, really, for a drink that's been around for as long as it has. But Sipin has heard from countless customers over the last decade.
I've had people in tears hug me and tell me how much kombucha has changed their life because of, how it's helped with their stomach, how it's helped with their skin.
A little bit more liquid than yogurt.
And that makes a lot of sense to Dr. Sarah Pierce of Aurora Healthcare, a specialist in integrative medicine who explains what probiotics, the healthy bacteria found in abundance in kombucha, can do.
Probiotics can be absolutely essential for intestinal or gut health, and we're actually learning that a lot of the body's immune system lives in the gut. So anything that would support a healthy intestine or a healthy gut could definitely help people feel better.
Dr. Pierce says other foods high in probiotics include yogurt, sauerkraut, kefir, and kimchi. And it's not just your gut that'll thank you.
Brain function can definitely be affected by how healthy the intestine is. There are more nerves in the gut than there are in the brain.
Those bubbles are the carbonation, so it's natural effervescence that is being created.
Back at Nasala, the Berthas are being checked.
This is good.
They brew 8 flavors for bottling and even more for specialty kegs. And while they've got it down to a science, the artisan aspect to brewing is evident.
What we're tasting for is like a balance of, sweet, tart, carbonation, see if it needs to ferment longer.
The finished booch, the preferred industry derivative, is shipped off to 9 states and not just to health food stores. Kombucha is quickly muscling its way into the convenience store coolers, once full only of soda and milk. In fact, this Oconomowoc store added a kombucha tap recently.
Just so many people asking about it.
None of this surprises our home brewer, Casey Miller, who says her life is better off because of the booch.
It's delicious. It really is. And when you want to feel better and when you crave that natural healing, you will latch on to things like this that it tastes so good and it's so good for you. It's a no-brainer.
Now, there are a few things you need to know. One is that not all kombucha is created equal. Find a maker you trust. There are a couple of very good ones here in Wisconsin. 2, it's not much, but we need to tell you there's a trace amount of alcohol in every serving, less than half of 1%, but still, you should know that. And finally, if you're gonna make your own, make darn sure you know what you're doing. There are plenty of home kombucha sites online that can help you get started.
Is it sweet?
Yeah, sometimes it is, and you have different flavors, different
Sure.
fruits can be added to it.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be tart, sometimes it can be sweet, sometimes it can be tangy. That's part of the brewing process depending on what fruit is added.
You've been trying to sell me on this. I'm in. I'm in.
Got to give it a month.
Okay.
Give it a month of 4 to 8 ounces a day. Let me know how it works for you.
Work tonight. I got Easter candy
There you
belly
go.
right now. I'm in. All right.